Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. In 2012, Patek Philippe launched this Perpetual calendar. You're looking at the 5940G. This is the -001. So 2012 was the arrival of the standard model in yellow. Rose and white gold followed from 2014. And this watch right here in my hand was retailed in 2018. There's a lovely cushion-cased watch that pays tribute to the Patek Philippe watches of the first third of the 20th century. You can see that in the cushion-like profile and also some of the font choices deployed on the dial, a time when it was anything but settled that we would be using round wristwatches almost universally. Many shapes were in play, and this watch harks back to that time. It is a beautiful white gold watch that is quite thin at only 8.8 millimeters thick. It is 37 millimeters wide, not including the crown, from lug tip to lug tip, 44.6 millimeters, with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. That's nice and wide and attractive. We'll throw it on my wrist. The strap is not broken in, so it's very, very stiff. As a result, I'm pulling it tight and I'm shrinking my wrist, making the watch look larger. Rest assured, this watch wears beautifully on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and even over the top, pinching my wrist. This angle usually exaggerates the width of the watch. You can still see those lugs are well inboard, but down the barrel angle is more definitive, and you can see how easily it'll slide under a shirt sleeve. Strap right here, you can see calfskin on the bottom. We have Patek's latest pull tab spring bars, so you can pop it off without tools. We have small and medium rectangular scale alligator leather up top, unusual cuts of the animal, a sort of dark blue with a matte finish. We've got a monotone stitch, a sheer cut edge to lacquered for refinement, brand new factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. White gold watch, white gold buckle. You can see the Calatrava cross, the symbol of the brand, and let's get that out of the way. The buckle that Patek uses has a radial spring inside of it, so this keeps it a little bit more firmly closed than a conventional friction fit clasp. It is quite secure, and it does offer quite a bit of staying power. There it is. Rolling around to the case, it's a monoblock. So what's fascinating here is that if you look, there's no separate bezel. And so you've got this situation where there's no seam visible on the top. It's a very clean look. Everything, the movement, the dial, it loads through the snapback case. And then we have these integrated lugs that are a little bit squared off their end, but you can see they're actually more rounded than squared. We have pusher adjusters for the calendar, because the Perpetual calendar uses the conventional program wheel and grand lever system. The watch is 30 meters water resistant, which I really recommend you not test. I know Patek is taking some liberties with 30 meters these days, but please, push down crown dress watch with many different through case fittings and a snapback. This is for rain exposure or splashes only. When you're washing your hands, do not submerge it. Dial, we have this lovely opaline, non-directional, metallic frosted silver white dial. We have white gold hands, also Breguet style Arabic numerals, and outboard of those little cabochon hours that are beautiful. You can see the dial has a nice sort of bilateral symmetry. You could split it down the center and it's mirrored on both sides. We've got a moon phase coaxial with the date down at the bottom. It's a Perpetual calendar, so you don't need to make any adjustments, provided it keeps running until the year 2100. Can deal with leap years and irregular length months, no problem. The moon phase doesn't need to be adjusted until 122 years after you set it. So we have the date in the moon phase, we have the 24-hour indicator in the day, and we have the leap year cycle indicator and the month. Remember, 4 is always the Summer Olympics, easy to remember. A little note about the 24-hour indicator and what that's about. Watch the dial over at 9 o'clock. As I advance the watch, you can see that there's a little hand that makes one circuit of that dial every 24 hours. Now, this is important because during the night, really, anytime from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., you don't want to touch these pusher adjusters for the calendar. So this little dial here lets you know whether you're looking at a.m. or p.m. So is this 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.? Well, the little hand is pointing to 6, so this is 6 a.m., so I'm safe to make changes to the calendar. And the watch also includes a sophisticated movement that pairs a very thin Perpetual calendar module with the long-running and upscale 240 micro rotor base. This is the caliber 240Q here. We've got a 22-karat gold rotor on ceramic bearings for high-efficiency winding, 48-hour power reserve, 3 hertz beat rate. You can see all of this is 6-position adjusted with an anti-magnetic silicon Spiromax hairspring, Gyromax style free-sprung balance with the fine adjustments done using the eccentric masses on the balance rim. It's a very reliable, accurate, long-running, and thin movement. And the nice thing about the micro rotor is that you get the big open display case back of a manual without being blocked by a winding bridge or a rotor, but you also get the convenience of an automatic, and you get the thin profile of a manual because the rotor and all of its train, the whole winding system, it's all in the same plane as the drivetrain, so a lot of advantages there. 6-position adjustment, 27 joules, and Patek was guaranteeing these watches to run no worse than -3 plus 2 seconds per 24 hours, so there is a lot to love. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.